Hello, session number 31. Don't worry, I think I've probably got enough lesson plans to keep us going, at least until we get vaccinated. So I hope you're still well and ready to go. Starting off with that posture check. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall. Open the chest, slide the fingertips down, seam of trouser leg. Tailbone pointing down, just tilt the pelvis slightly. And then you get that zip up and hollow. Opening up the hips so the buttocks automatically engage, knees rolling out, and the arch of the foot lifting. Then just spreading out the toes, weight even between the little toe and the big toe and the heels. And of course doing the Pilates, breathing full and wide into the ribs, keeping that pull up and pull in. And then just tucking the elbows into the side, palms turned up, keeping the shoulders back and down. Taking a breath in and open the chest. Exhale and extend the arms out, turn the palms down, and then tuck the elbows in. And then come back to start. So just squeeze back, stretching out, palms down, tuck in, and then bring it back to start. So you're opening the chest, reaching out, but keeping the shoulders down, palms turned down, squeeze those shoulder blades together, come back to start. Maybe breathing in, breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. So just working with your breathing, opening the chest, making that posture muscle work across the upper back. Warming up the shoulders. One more time. Keeping everything else stable. Nice and smooth. And then back to start position. And then just tap hips, shoulders reach up, shoulders and hips and shoulders and reach. So just again warming up the shoulders, switching on those core muscles to keep you stable. Stretching up, but keeping the shoulders themselves down. And then just once more, reaching up, bring it back to start position. Holding that there. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push up onto the balls of the feet, balance, and float the heels down. Pushing all the way up onto the balls of the feet, and then just tapping down. Maybe exhaling to lift and inhale to lower. Think about going up through that piece of string in the center of your head. So straight up, straight down. Try not to let the ankles roll in or out. And then adding on to that. Turn the head, and then back to center as the heels come down. Turn the head, back to center as the heels come down. So each time you lift the heels, you turn the head, which of course is going to challenge your balance a little bit more. And of course get flexibility into your neck. Pushing right up onto the balls of the feet, and then just turning the head. So you turn the head as the heels come up, bring the head back to center as heels come down. And then maybe just one more time. And back to center, feeling those calf muscles work. Then from here, keeping the elbows tucked into the side, doing a bicep curl, and just lift one heel off the floor, put it down, and the other heel off the floor. So just lifting the heel, but keeping the elbows tucked into the side. That's enough, you leave it there. Otherwise, lift the knee up level with the hip and replace the foot. Keep that bicep curl going, fully extending the arms, working into the hip flexor, and of course load bearing for that standing leg. Still lengthening up through that piece of string in the center of the head, keeping the chest open, balancing. Then see if you can add on to that one. See if you can lift the knee up and then squeeze back. So knee comes up and squeeze back. If that's too much, just lift the heel and push back. So you can decide which level you're going for here. Opening the chest, working the buttock, hip flexor, and of course that quadricep muscle. And then see if you can just hold it there with the knee up, or just with the toes on the floor, keeping the elbows tucked in. Just open and close. Open and close, and then turn the knee out, turn the knee in. Remember, you can always leave the toes on the floor if you need to. Balancing. Inner and outer thighs working, holding with the hip flexor, opening the chest. And then just relax, put the foot back down, and and swap to the other side. So you're doing a lift with the heel and push back, or you do a knee lift and push back. You can decide. And of course, as usual, one side is better than the other side. Squeeze back. Try not to move your torso at all. And of course, you can put the foot on the floor if you need to. And then from there, just hold that knee up and balance. And then squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Feel that load bearing on that standing leg. Then if you can, you turn the knee out, turn the knee in, while keeping, of course, that torso as stable as you can. Hip pointing forward, chest pointing forward. And then just replacing the foot to the floor. Bring the feet into first position, heels turned in and toes turned out. And then again, push up onto the balls of the feet, balance and float down. So you'll feel your buttocks engage as you push up, as well as those calf muscles. All the way up and floating down. Then adding some arms, reaching out to the side, push down. Just shoulder height. And then see if you can lift, make a fist, strong arms, extend and down, while keeping the heels off the floor if you can. Working into those biceps. Lifting up, calf muscles working. And of course your buttocks, because you've got your heels turned in, toes turned out. Maybe a little bit of inner thigh too. And then what about adding a little rotation? So lift, bend the elbows, keep the nose in line with the sternum, and twist. Gently back, keep those heels turned in, toes turned out. Lift, bend the elbows, twist. Just keep the nose in line with the sternum, so you're not turning the head at all. And lift, bend, strong arms, twist. Nothing moving below the waist. Trying to keep those hips pointing forward. So those headlamps on the hip bones point forward as you twist, working into the waist. And of course, challenging your balance. Seeing if you can hold up that little bit longer. And twist and center, keeping the shoulders down. Immediately to the other side. And gently down. Reaching out. Bend, keep those elbows up high. Trying to let the elbows drop. Keep those heels turned in, toes turned out. Feel the natural corset muscles around your middle work. As well as the shoulders, the biceps. Waist whittling. And then just bring it back to start position. Replace the feet to the floor. And then taking a big step back with that right foot. Bending that front knee. And just bringing the weight forward. Press that back heel into the floor. And stretch through the calf. Hold that there. And make those strong arms again. Nose in line with the sternum and twist. Nothing moving below the waist. Keep that back heel pressed into the floor. Get a really good stretch through those calf muscles. Making sure you keep the shoulders down. And then change to the other side. Big step back, pressing the heel down. You can also have the feet a little bit apart to help with the balance. Making sure the toes point forward. Bending the front knee, but make sure it doesn't go any further forward than the toes. Keeping the chest lifted. Reach and squeeze back. Stretching forward, pulling back. Opening the chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then from there, just bring the arms back, bring the feet back in together. And then if you just want to get to your mat and stand on the back of your mat. Remember, back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that wall. Tuck that tailbone under so it points down. Keeping the chest open, drop the chin, and now peel yourself off that wall like a piece of wet wallpaper. Just drop the head. Go as far as you can, keeping the knees slightly bent. Nodding the head. Shake, 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 shake the head. And then keeping the arms close into the legs, slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, up against that imaginary wall again. And going again. Just get lots of lovely stretch through the spine. Release the neck, release the shoulders. Maybe go that a little bit further, get some stretch through the legs and nod, nod, nod.
Shake, 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 shake the head. And then again, slowly up, engaging the tummy, putting that tummy button up and in all the time to support your back. And then one more time, just drop the chin, let your breathing flow all the way down. Just drop that little bit further again, nodding, nodding, nodding. Release the tension in the neck. Shake, 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 shake the head. Bend the knees a little bit more and walk out onto the elbows and knees. Make sure that there is a full back length between the knees and the elbows. They're not too close together. And just tuck that pelvis under slightly. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. Shoulder blades should be flat against your back. Peach underneath the chin, no strain on the neck. Now just take a breath in, and as you breathe out, pull the tummy button as tight, tight, tight as you can, right up into your backbone. Hold to breathe in, hold to breathe out, and breathe in to release the tummy, but you always release it to about 30%. You don't just let it completely relax. There's always a bit of tension in those tummy muscles. So you're going again. Exhale to pull up, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, and inhale to release, but always to that 30%. So it's all you're doing is squeezing the tummy as tight as you can, right up into your backbone. Work against gravity, breathing in, breathing out, and then releasing on the in-breath. Just one more time. Engage the tummy as tightly, tightly, tightly as you can. Hold to breathe in, hold to breathe out, and breathing in to release. But keep that 30%. Pull up and pull in. And then coming up onto the hands and knees. If you're all right on your hands and knees, if you are not happy on your hands and knees, you could stay on your elbows and knees, or you can lie on your front, and I'll give you an alternative to this. Keep that pelvis tucked under slightly, tummy pulled up and in. Plank of wood on the back of your head, peach underneath your chin. And then just exhale and lift the right knee out to the side, and inhale, put it down. Exhale to lift, inhale to put it down. Now if you don't want to be on your knees, just lie on your front, legs out straight behind you, and just lift the right leg, and then keep the leg straight and just take it out to the side and bring it back in again. You can do that instead. And then just hold it up and do 3 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, and down. Exhale up, 1, 2, 3, and down. And again, lift, 1, 2, 3, and down. But you can always do that lying on your front. And when you're ready, you swap to the other side. Just do a lift and lower first. Going down on your elbows if you need to, but trying to keep the torso as stable as you can while you do this. Make sure you're not bending an elbow and leaning over. Thinking about having a cup of tea between your shoulder blades and a cup of tea on the back of your pelvis. And again, lying on your front, you would just lift the leg and just take it out and in. Then see if you can hold up and do the pulse. 1, 2, 3, and down. But again, without bending the opposing elbow. Keeping the back like a table. So you're not going to spill those cups of tea. Maybe one more time. 1, 2, 3, and back. So the challenge is to keep your torso stable. And then see if you can now keep the knee in line and then flex the foot and lift and lower. So squeeze the buttock, again while keeping those cups of tea still. Lying on your front, you can do exactly the same thing. Just bend one knee and then lift and lower. As if you're trying to imprint the sole of the foot onto the ceiling. So you need to have the foot flexed. Squeeze and release. Then maybe just hold up and do that pulsing again. 1, 2, 3, and release. So you're fixing with your hamstring and working your buttock. And of course those core muscles are working to keep you stable. Maybe one more time. Squeeze and do that 1, 2, 3, and release. And swapping to the other side. Just keep checking you're tucking that pelvis under slightly, engaging the tummy all the time. And then squeeze and release. Exhale up, imprint the sole of the foot onto the ceiling, and then bring the knee back under the hip without bending an elbow. So fixing with that hamstring. And then when you're ready, you can have that little pulse. Push up and do 1, 2, 3, release. And 1, 2, 3, release. And of course you can do that lying on your front exactly the same. Just bend the knees, or the knee rather, and lift and pulse. And then, no idea whether I've done equal numbers on both sides, but we'll bring it back to start position and then go back to that right leg again. But this time what you're going to do is you're going to lift the knee out, bring it back and push it up, extend, bend and down. So it's out, in, squeeze it up, extend it out, bend it in and down. So you do out to the side and down, lift to the ceiling, extend keeping the leg level with the hip and down. Maybe one more time. Engage the tummy. Outside hip and thigh, and then buttock and quadricep, hamstring and gravity. And then swap into the other side. So you're going to do side and down, flex the foot, lift, imprint, knee high, keep the leg high, imprint onto the wall behind, bend and down. So maybe exhale out, inhale down, exhale lift, inhale extend, exhale bend and inhale down. Then you're ready to go with the out and in again. So load bearing for those wrists. Try not to lean over, those core muscles working hard. Imprint the sole again, back to the ceiling and down. Maybe one more time. Because again, I've got no idea how many I've done, but I'm sure you can manage to count and do equal numbers on both sides. And then when you have, just sit back onto the heels, let the forehead rest down. You might just want to take those arms behind you, palms up, and rotate those wrists. Lots of load bearing on those wrists. And taking them the other way, just get a nice stretch of those wrists, ease them out. Or of course you could sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, and put a big beach ball on your lap, reach over the beach ball for your toes, and rotate those wrists. First one way, then the other way. And then when you've done that, have a good stretch through your lower back, your buttocks, and ease out the wrists. Coming onto your front, please. With forehead on the floor, if you can. If not, just turn your head to the side, let your cheek rest. Take the arms out to the side, crucifix position. Straight out from the shoulders, and then just bend the elbows at a 90-degree angle. Maybe take the feet out wider, turn the big toes in towards one another to relax the buttocks. And of course, got your tummy button pulled up into your backbone all the time. Peach underneath the chin, cup of tea on the back of your pelvis. Keeping everything stable from the waist down. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just hover the arms off the floor and breathe in to put them down. So you're literally just lifting straight up and down. Working into the shoulders, encouraging flexibility into your shoulders and squeezing those shoulder blades together. Exhale up, squeeze, inhale down. Just hovering, squeeze and release. And see if you can add the head and shoulders and the upper part of the chest too. So you do exhale to lift, inhale lower. Reach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. And just exhale up, inhale down. Or of course you can turn the head to the side, let your cheek rest, lift the head, look down, and then turn the head again. Whichever is more comfortable. Plank of wood on the back of your head, peach underneath the chin. Then see if you can add onto that one. See if you can exhale up, inhale, hold. Exhale, bend from the middle, twist from the middle, elbow to floor. Bring it back, elbow to floor. Bring it back and down. If it's too much to do first one side then the other, of course you could do one side, come back down, have a little rest, and then do the other side. But if you can, you do lift, twist, back to centre, twist again, release and down, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Nice and smooth. So it's exhale up, inhale, hold, exhale, twist, inhale back, exhale, twist, inhale back and down. But you could just do one on one side, come back to centre, have a little rest, then do the other side. If it's too much, of course, you could just leave the head and the shoulders down, arms down, and then lift the head and the shoulders and the chest. You could always do that instead if it's too much. Then you see if you can change that. See if you can lift up, hold, and then bend, elbow to hip, bring it back, elbow to other hip, bring it back, and take it down. So just exhale up, inhale, hold, exhale, bend, bring it back on the in-breath, exhale, bend, bring it back, and take it down. So you decide which head position you want to do. Just lift and a big twist. Big bend. The other one was the twist. Now, if it's too much, just bring the feet in together and hip hitch. Do alternate hip hitches, keeping the head and the shoulders down, neck relaxed, and just do alternate hips into the bottom of the rib cage, just working it from the other end. But if you wanted to work harder, what you could do is you could lift and hold, twist, centre, twist, centre, bend, centre, bend, centre, and then take it down. But you can decide which levels you want to work with. So we just exhale up, inhale, hold, exhale, twist, inhale, centre, exhale, twist, inhale, centre, exhale, bend, inhale, centre, exhale, bend, inhale, centre. And you can always hold it up and just keep going with that. But you make the decision which level and how many repetitions you want to do. Everything below the waist stays still. Keep those buttocks as relaxed as you can. Neck stays in line with the spine, so there's no strain on the neck. And then when you think you've done enough repetitions, you relax back down, come up onto the hands and knees, and of course, stretch your back. Arch the back, drop the head, tuck the pelvis under, look back between the thighs, hold that there, just tucking under, get a good stretch into your spine, holding that there. And then if you just want to cross the arms, please, at the wrists and arch the back up again. Drop the head, push down through the hands. Open up between the shoulder blades, stretch across the upper back. And then when you're ready, just change the crossover. If you have the right hand in front, put the left hand in front. You might want to bring the hands closer into the knees, give you a better arch and open up between those shoulder blades. If that is not comfortable, you can always sit on your bottom, swing your legs around in front of you, wrap your arms around your beach ball and pull the ball into the chest. Open up between the shoulder blades. And give it a good stretch. And then if you just want to come onto your right side and lengthen out, bend the knees forward to a 90-degree angle, let the head rest. So you've got your knees at 90 degrees, your hips at 90 degrees, and the shins parallel to the edge of the mat. And your back is parallel to the edge of your mat too. If that is not comfortable for your shoulder, you can always get a cushion, pop it underneath and bring the arm forward and just let the head rest on the cushion. See if that's more comfortable for the shoulder. If you can, do this position because it helps to give you more flexibility into your shoulder. And then just lift the top leg, hover, flex the foot and squeeze back as if you're trying to imprint the sole of the foot onto the wall behind you. Bring it forward without putting it down and just squeeze back. Keep that 90-degree angle at the knee. So you don't move the knee, you just squeeze back. And you don't have to worry about balance because you've got that bottom knee bent So you just put that top shoulder down. Might want to put the hand behind to open the chest and keep the shoulder down. So working into the buttock, and of course your core to keep that cup of tea still on the outside of your hip. And then maybe just pushing in back and pulse. 1, 2, 3 and release. Push back 1, 2, 3 and release. So getting that outside hip and thigh working, and of course the buttock as you push back. Trying to keep the tummy pulled up and in, a little bit of gap between the waist and the floor. So think about having that little flat hot stone underneath your waist. So you're engaged around the middle. Then when you feel you've had enough with that outside hip and thigh there, then just relax, straighten out that bottom leg. Now immediately your balance is going to be challenged. Now you might want to put that top knee on the floor in front of you, rolling that top hip slightly forward, keep the waist lifted, cup of tea on the outside of the hip, head down, neck relaxed. And then flexing that bottom foot now, lift, point and lower, almost to the floor but not quite. So you flex to lift, point to lower, working into that inner thigh, getting flexibility of course into your ankle, getting a bit of stretch through the calf as you push the heel away. Nice and smooth. Now if you wanted to work a little bit harder, what you do is you take the top leg back over at hip height. Maybe put that hand in front of you, that top hand in front of you, and then lift, point and lower. So you could do that if you want to. Otherwise you just leave that top knee in front. Then of course you would challenge your balance with where you put that top hand. And then maybe just hold that leg up and start to draw some circles. Now you can flex or point, whichever works better, in that ankle. And putting that top hand wherever it needs to be. Remember you can leave it behind to open the chest. And of course you can leave that top leg in front of you. When you're ready, change direction and make it go the other way. Maybe one circle on an in breath, one circle on an out breath. Keep lengthening through that top leg and inner thigh working, but mainly the core to keep that pelvis stable while you do this. And then when you've had enough of that, you just relax back down, bend the knees forward in front of you, and maybe give that outside hip a little rub and a smack if you've been holding that leg up all that time. A little rub and a smack. Then gently, please, rolling over onto your back. Taking a moment to set this up. Bring the chin down over the peach, stretch fingertips towards your toes to get the length in the neck. Work your way down, put a little grape in the small of your back. Tray of marbles balanced across the pelvis, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles aligned. So orange width between the knees. And then breathing, of course, full and wide into the ribs, not interfering with that zip up and hollow, pulling up and pulling in to keep that pelvis stable. Just lift the right knee up into tabletop position. Got a puddle in front of your toes. And then breathing in, tap the foot down without arching the back off the grape. And then breathing out to lift the leg back up. So just tapping down and lifting up. When you lift the leg up, make sure that your pelvis doesn't tilt and crush the grape. Tapping down, lifting back up. Keeping everything else stable. Making sure that pelvis does not move. Making sure you don't bring your knee into the chest, because if you bring your knee into the chest, you will crush your grape. So you keep your knee over the hip. And then see if you can push that puddle a little bit further out, tapping the foot into the puddle, and the heel or the toe, whichever works better. And just try and push that puddle out a little bit further. If the back starts to arch, of course, you bring your puddle closer in again. And of course, balancing on your left knee is the glass of Prosecco, so you're not going to allow that other leg to move. Extending the leg as far as you can. And then when you're ready, bring it back to start position and replace the foot. Lift the other leg up and start off with your puddle close in and then gradually start to push the puddle out. Always making sure that nothing else moves. Getting flexibility into the hip. Keep that glass of Prosecco balance now on your right knee, keeping the foot rooted into the floor. And just extending that puddle out, pushing it out to make the leg go out that little bit further, because then your back will start to want to arch off the grape. And of course you've got to brace your tummy to make sure that it doesn't do that. Flexibility for hip and knee, hip flexor, quadricep, hamstring working as well. And then when you think you've done equal numbers on both sides, just again bring it back to that start position, replace the foot to the floor. Then see if you can lift that up a level. Lift one leg up into tabletop, press the back into the mat, lift the other leg up into tabletop. Now relax the back and put the grate back underneath. So your tummy is really braced now. And then right foot taps into the puddle. Just repeat with the right leg. Hold the left leg still. Now if that's too much, please put your left foot back onto the floor. And then of course, then once you've got that going, you start to push that puddle out again. Maybe exhaling in and inhaling it out, whichever works better. Just let your breathing flow, working with the breathing. Make sure that back does not arch off the grape, extending the leg as far as you can while keeping the torso absolutely stable. And when you've done enough on one side, have a go on the other side. Maybe start off with the puddle closer in and then just gradually challenge yourself by pushing that puddle further out, but making sure the back does not arch off the grape. So you've really got to brace those tummy muscles, pressing tummy button right down into the backbone, making sure that your back does not arch or pelvis tilt. Push that puddle out as far as you can, really working very hard into those deep, deep stabilizer muscles, trying to keep the neck and the shoulders relaxed, making it as smooth as you can and controlled. And then when you think you've done equal numbers on both sides, just hold that there and then hug the knees into the chest. Maybe have a little rock side to side to release that lower back. And then from there, we've got another level with this if you want to have a go. So putting one foot down, the other foot down. Lifting the right knee up into tabletop. And then see if you can just hover, brace the tummy and hover the left foot off the floor. Now this is going to be considerably more challenging than that left leg in tabletop. So you're tapping and lifting. Now if that's too much, take it back to tabletop or put that left foot back onto the floor. Now this is a lot more challenging. So if your back starts to arch, you go back to one of the earlier positions. Try not to lift that left foot any higher than just off the floor. Really feel those tummy muscles work. And then bring it back, replace the foot, the other foot, have a go on the other side. Remember, you decide how many you want to do, hovering if you can, if not, tabletop, or put the right foot onto the floor. Start off close, because this is much, much harder. Really brace the tummy, try and relax the shoulders. Try and keep that right foot just hovering, because it will try to lift higher to make it easier. But you can put it back down if you need to. Really hard work for those deep, deep stabilizer muscles. Keep reaching with the fingertips towards the toes, making sure the shoulders don't start to creep up around the ears. I can see that foot starting to lift a little bit, so just be careful with that. Holding that right foot just off the floor is the hardest version. And then when you think you've done equal numbers on both sides, just hug those knees in and then maybe just circle them around and release your back. First one way and then the other way. Of course, encouraging flexibility into your hips too.
got one more level with this, adding in the upper body if you want to. So what you would do is lift the right knee up into tabletop position. If you want to, you hover that left foot, or you lift the leg to tabletop, or you leave the left foot on the floor. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl up and tap the foot, that right foot into the puddle. Roll back down as you bring the leg back to tabletop. So you're curling forward and tapping. Adding in rectus abdominis down the front. Curl forward and tap. Push that puddle out as far as you can. Remember that you can support the head with one hand or even both, but keep the elbows back. Try not to pull on the head. I've got to work really hard to stop that left foot lifting higher to make it easier. And then, when you've done enough on one side, replace the feet and have a go on the other side. Keep lengthening through the neck, leg up, hover, and then off you go. Crush the grape, and again, you put that puddle as far out as you can, while trying to keep that right foot just hovering. I'm having to keep checking that right foot because it keeps trying to lift. So just pushing out, support the head if you need to. Really hard work for all those tummy muscles. Remember, you can always push your tongue up into the roof of your mouth to relax the front of your throat. Make sure the shoulders don't creep up around the ears. Press that tummy button right in. So the grape, of course, is crushed when you do the curl forward. If it's too much, of course, you could just stay with the legs. And then when you think again, you've done equal numbers on both sides. Bring it back to start position. Hug the knees in and let the head roll from side to side, and just ease out the tension in the neck. And then if you just want to put one foot down, the other foot down, stretch the legs out, stretch the arms out, and just stretch, stretch, stretch through the tummy. Lengthening, lengthening through the hips as well. Give it a good stretch. Lift the rib cage away from the hips. And then the best way you know how, going to go onto your left side. So maybe breathe in, nod your head, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, peel yourself off, up to sitting. Or of course you could put your hands behind your lower back, bend from the waist, push up. Or you could hold on behind one thigh and pull up. But just get yourself onto your left side. And again, lengthening out, bending the knees, so you've got a 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. Remember, you can always get a cushion, pop it underneath your head, arm forward if it's not comfortable for the shoulder there. You can even put a cushion between your arm and your head. Then keep the waist lifted off that little flat hot stone, cup of tea on the outside of your hip. Keep that top shoulder down, and then that top hip roll forward slightly, so you're balancing on your hip, not rolling back onto the buttock. And then hover that top leg, flex the foot about hip height, then exhale to squeeze back as if you're imprinting into the wall behind, and breathe in to bring it back over the other leg. So it's just exhale to squeeze back and inhale to bring it forward. Nice and smooth. Feel that buttock engage, and of course you're holding up with the outside of the hip and thigh there. Squeezing back, getting flexibility again into the hip. Doesn't really matter, of course, where you put your right hand now, because you've got your knee bent. But still trying to keep that cup of tea still. If you find your chest is closing in, then you could put the hand behind to open the chest and also pull the shoulder down. Then maybe just push back and do 3 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, and bring it back. Keeping that leg up. 1, 2, 3. So you're not putting the leg down in between. Feel that outside hip and thigh work. And of course fixing with your hamstring and
those core muscles working to keep that cup of tea still on the outside of the hip. So push as if you're pushing into that wall behind, and you really feel that buttock work, but nothing else moving. That's a challenge, is to keep everything else stable. That bottom leg doesn't move. And then when you can feel that outside hip and thigh work, and it's had enough, then you can either, remember, put the knee onto the floor in front of you, extend the bottom leg, hover that bottom leg, flex and lift and point to lower. Flex to lift, point to lower. And of course you can put that top leg back over the bottom leg, so you've got to balance. Maybe put that right hand back in front of you, hold the leg hip height, flex and point and lower, almost to the floor but not quite. Again, watching that shoulder doesn't creep up around the ear, and putting that right hand wherever you need it to be. So again, getting flexibility into the ankle and that inner thigh working. And of course the core to keep you stable, challenging yourself with where you put your right hand. Then when you're ready, you start with the circling. Try and hold that top leg still and just circle that bottom leg. Maybe flex or point, whichever works better for you. Depends really on the cramp in your toes. Circling that bottom leg. Trying to keep the top leg as still as you can. And challenge yourself with where you put that top hand. Maybe change direction with the circling. Really hard work, more for you core now. Remember to take the leg behind as well as up and forward and down. So you can really feel your buttock engage as well. But it's mainly core to keep that cup of tea still on the outside of the hip. Make sure you don't bend the legs. And again, you do as many as you want to do. And then when you've had enough, you just relax back down. Bring the knees into the chest, give the outside of the hip a little rub and a smack, and get rid of any burn that you have possibly got going on in there now. And then gently please roll over onto your front. Taking the forehead down onto the back of one hand, lengthen through the legs, and then reach behind with the hand for the foot on the same side. Bring the heel to the bottom, knees together, pressing the hip into the floor, stretching the front of the thigh and the hip. Now if you can't get the foot, you can get over the sock of the trouser leg, or you could just cross the ankle over and ease the leg in that way. If you want to, you lift the head and the shoulders, but keep your eyes focused on the back of the hand, then you're not engaging your neck. Good stretch. And then replace the foot and swap to the other side. Heel to bottom, knees together, press the hip down, lifting head and shoulders, but only if you feel you need that extra push. Get a really good stretch through those hips and thighs. And then replacing the foot, coming up into a sitting position. Taking the legs out nice and wide, sitting up tall, and then reaching forward, taking your chest towards the floor. Get a really good stretch in those inner thighs. If that is not comfortable for you, you can bring the soles of the feet together, put the hands behind you, sit up tall, and let the weight of your legs just take your knees towards the floor to get that inner thigh stretch. But if you can, you stay with the straight legs out wide, and then you take those hands a little bit further out if you can. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Really good inner thigh stretch. Holding that there. And then sitting up nice and tall. Just rotate to your left side. And then reach the right arm out over that right leg. Lift the left arm up and stretch over. So if you're trying to reach for your toes, see how far you can go, but without twisting, so you're not reaching, you're keeping that
left shoulder back. Get a good stretch down the side. Maybe take a breath in as you breathe out, see if it'll go that little bit further, reach for the toes, arm by the ear by the arm, keep the neck relaxed, and release. And then you twist the other way, reaching out, and take it over. Reach, reach, reach. Keeping the buttocks glued down, make sure the buttocks don't lift. And again, maybe take a breath in, and as you breathe out, reach that little bit further. Stretching, stretching. Remember, you can always put a cushion underneath your bottom with this one if you're having difficulty. Might make it a little bit more comfortable. And then lengthen back up again. Then just bringing the legs in together. Lift the chest and slide the hands out towards the heels. Hold that there, shoulders down. Pressing the backs of the knees into the floor. Get a good stretch with the hamstrings, the lower back, and the buttocks. Again, maybe take a breath in, and as you breathe out, reach further forward. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. It's completely irrelevant how far forward you go. Just need to feel the stretch behind the knees up into the thighs and those hamstring muscles. And then lengthening up, cross your right foot over your left thigh, and then hug the leg in. Put the right hand behind, sit up tall, and rotate and look over that right shoulder. Hold and stretch. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just twist a little bit further if you can. Get more flexibility around your middle and your neck, and the outside hip and thigh. And then unknot the legs and swap to the other side. Just hug it in, sit up tall, hand behind, lift up, and turn the head. Hug that leg right in. And again, maybe take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just twist a little bit further. Make sure you keep the shoulders down. Hold and stretch. And then relax. Sitting with the legs straight or bent or crossed, but sitting up nice and tall. Again, you might want to put a cushion underneath your bottom if you find that you're getting a curve in your spine. Put that cushion underneath your bottom and try and get the back up nice and straight, shoulders back and down. Right hand palm down underneath the buttock, sit upon it, and drop the left ear. Get a good stretch through the neck and the shoulder. Make sure that shoulder doesn't creep up, keep the shoulder down. And then lengthening up. Slide those shoulder blades down your back, drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Shoulders right down away from the ears, keeping the back up still nice and tall. Those tummy muscles still working. Use the weight of the head to stretch the back of the neck. Lengthening up again. Left hand palm down underneath the buttock, sit upon it. And drop your right ear into the shoulder. Hold that there. Get a nice stretch down the side of the neck over the shoulder, making sure the shoulders don't creep up around the ears. And then release, shoulders back and down still. Peach underneath the chin. Turn the head and look as far as you can over that right shoulder. Encouraging flexibility into the neck. Slowly turn the head and look all the way over that left shoulder. Keeping the chin down, try not to tilt the top of the head back. And then gently drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Lifting the head. And release the shoulders forward, up and round and back and down. Get those shoulders moving again. Just release, release, release. And then there we are, session number 31. Maybe we ought to take bets to see how many we're going to do before we can all properly resume all the classes again. Stay well, look after yourselves, keep exercising. We need to keep going. Thank you very much, as always, for those generous contributions. And I will be here again next time. Bye for now.